There we go. So when we talk about animal foods, then in terms of priority, here's what Osawa's theory was, and what the macrobiotic theory was, that human health comes from primarily taking food that is more distant from us from an evolutionary point of view. The healthier choices are always the ones that are the most distant. So if we're going to eat animal food, we choose the ones that are the most distant from us. So in terms of evolution, that's the furthest ones in our common foods. I mean, insects would be further, and then you have to go to Australia. And the first time Roger invited me to Australia, he took me to a shop where they sold the big big bugs. Yes, big. That's right. It was a cafe they run, and he had canned bugs in there, which I think you refused. Yes, I did. I stop at bugs. It's just a cultural thing, you know. If I was someplace where it would be terribly culturally offensive not to eat the bugs, I would probably eat them. But you know, in a perfect world, no, I would not eat a bug. Right? These bugs are really big too. Right? These are big bugs. They're a meal in themselves, right? You know. So fish, right? Then fowl, right? Then mammal, right? Now what we see is that when you look at those foods, they are digestible exactly in that order. Right? Fish is much more digestible than fowl. Fowl is more digestible than mammal. The closer we get to ourselves, the more difficult it is for our body to break down the food. It doesn't mean we can't break it down, just the more difficulty it is. And if you're not using the food, and this is important, if you're not using the food immediately, then the more stress it puts on the system. If you're using the food, like if the climate is very cold, or if you're involved in a lot of physical activity, then it's not going to cause so much of a problem. I experimented in the last 45 years, I've had meat on 4 occasions. I'm talking about red meat. And it was always as a kind of curiosity, right? Of a small piece of meat and see, just check, you know, every 10 years I could try to have a little bit of meat, a little piece of meat, think, do I really want to eat this? No, I don't want to eat this, right? And that was okay. And then once I was taunted into eating meat, right? Because I'm a man. Right? And somebody that I knew, we were at a big barbecue event where there were both vegetarians and meat eaters and lots of big party, big Colorado outside event, and this fellow came up to me and said, what are you cooking? And I said, I'm cooking tempeh, right? And he said, what is that? And I said, my God. He said, my God, you're a wimp. And and we got into a conversation about it. And I said, no, in fact, you know, this is really good. I said, would you eat some? And he said, no. He said, I'll eat some if you'll have some of my meat, because I have some buffalo meat here, right? And this is like on the hoof, you know, it's natural, it's organic, it's a buffalo, right? And I said, okay, that's a trade-off, right? You have a piece of tempeh, and I'll have the meat. And he cheated. He threw some of his tempeh away, somebody told me, right? He just had a little bite and threw it away, but I was honorable, and I ate this little strip of buffalo meat. And about 4 hours later, I went to leave the event, and I had my children in the car, and I'm driving back to my house, which was way up in the mountains, and one of the kids said, Dad, why are you driving so fast? Right? And I said, what? I'm driving, and it was going, you know, around the corners, and I didn't realize it. And I never drive like that when my kids are in the car, you know. I mean, sometimes when they're not in the car, I would drive that way, but not when my kids are in the car. And I said, gosh, I'm sorry. And I went back. We got home. The kids go to bed. And then I'm up, and I'm up. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to sleep. There's no way I'm going to sleep. And I'm thinking, what's going on? And it was the meat, right? And I knew it very good. I think, go out and take a walk in the woods, right? And it's like, yes, I think I'll go. I think I'll go out and kill some small animals, right? You know, I went out and I walked for about 3 hours, and it was very cold, and then I was good. It was like a moonlit night, and I could see very easily. but I had so much heat in my body, I felt like my body was on fire, right? And I came back and I thought, well, the next time I have to tear a house down or something like that, I know what to eat, right? You know, it was very simple. Because I didn't have any way of expressing that energy, then it was useless to me, right? It was useless because there was no expression of it. And this is an important thing, right? What we take in, we should be able to express or to use. It should be a trade-off. And if we're not in a situation where we have that kind of trade-off, then it's not going to do us any good. It's not going to be productive of health, right?